2 hours of sports talk excellence here in the Flower City. You found us here, the Sports Bar. Gene Battaglia with you. 95.7 FM, AM 950. Always streaming for free inside the Odyssey app. We are on YouTube and Twitch. Say hello to us there. Leave a comment if you like. If you'd like to interact with the show, you can find us anywhere on social media. The one we look at is X, at WGR Rochester. But certainly we're on Facebook and Insta. Hi, how's everyone doing today? Sun's out here. It's a great day to talk sports with you here in the Flower City. And for the first time since 1999, the New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals. We'll talk with Zig Verkasi, Sirius XM. Now, Zig is a hockey guy, so we'll certainly get his thoughts on what just happened here with the Sabres, what may be happening here with the Stanley Cup Final to begin tomorrow night. And Zig has Western New York roots. He's from Niagara Falls. Was on the Bills beat for a little bit. If you remember the old the old Empire Sports Network channel, it was a radio station on 107.7, which, by the way, you can hear WGR in Buffalo on 107.7 now. But Zig was on that show in the evening. So Zig now doing the national radio thing. He'll join us in the 2 o'clock hour. Just one guest today. We've got a lot to get to. So just time for your calls as well. The Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman line at 866-4326. Award-winning barbecue from Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub, 135 West Commercial Street, East Rochester, goodsmokebbq.com. Dandalorian in his other home today. He's actually at the front desk today. So it's like you're going to come to the High Falls Studios. He's up front cutting up the audio. On camera right now, terrible take Tim Schneider joining us, and he's waving at the camera there. Yesterday would have been a nice day for you to go to a Guardian game. I saw Wayne Wilson was down there, former RIT coach. Know a few other people that went out to see the Red Sox. Short drive.
I was actually going to go down for that series, but I decided to do the country show out in Finger Lakes instead.
Yeah, how was
stayed
that?
home. It was fun. I had a good day, long day, but it was a fun experience, and it was nice to be able to go out and do that.
Lee Bryce, those ads are running a lot on our station, so good to hear that they got a good crowd, good weather day for that as well. I did 4 sectional championship games in lacrosse. The Pittsburgh Victor game was off the charts good. Other 3 were a little more one-sided, so good luck to all the Section 5 teams now as they're headed to regional action in boys lacrosse, taking on the teams from Buffalo this week. Girls lacrosse, they are tonight and tomorrow at St. John Fisher University. 585-866-4326 is the number. We hardly ever start with the NBA, but I think we should, right? It's the team in our state. And I'll start with it this way. It was, trading texts with Damon Amendolara, who joined us last week on the show, DA, who also does a national radio show. It also has a podcast, Sabres in 6. He's got the Bill Maddock podcast. You can find that on YouTube. Highly recommend it. And just taking our temperature, ask me this question. How is the Knicks run for fans up there? Do people care? Do you, the Rochester sports fan, care that the Knicks are there? I guess from the standpoint of, do you care? Yeah, I guess you care, but is there passion? And this is where, as a sports town, I think we're kind of exposed here a little bit. Because one thing I can tell you about Rochesterians, and it's not sports, it's a lot of things, Hollywood, business. We are provincial. Anything from Rochester. We love Rochester. We defend Rochester. We can make fun of Rochester, see the fast ferry, but we can do that to ourselves. But don't you do that from the outside. But anything from Rochester, whether that's Philip Seymour Hoffman or Abby Wambach or anything in our history, we love. But when it comes to the NBA, Isaiah Stewart, Thomas Bryant, Jalen Pickett, Jonathan Williams, not to mention Jeff Van Gundy, Anthony Lamb, who is now in Jerusalem, but you have talent. Is there any other sport right now that you have 4 players from the Flower City? Does the NFL have that right now? I guess I should have researched that part of it. Hockey, no. At one point, we did have a few, sure. And baseball, they come and go. And heck, football, I guess we could say, oh, sure, Casey Concepcion. No. These guys, Stewart, Bryant, Pickett, McQuaid, BK Aquinas, Williams, UPrep, Van Gundy, Nazareth. They're all homegrown. And there's all reason. And there was a team way back when. Now, the sidebar on that is that what would be the analogy today for the Rochester Royals in the 1950s? Because I asked my dad about this and said, yeah, I always wanted to kind of go to a game, but, didn't have the opportunity to go. I don't know. Would it be like, oh, we had the Nighthawks or we had the West New York Flash? I don't think people back in the 1950s could have foreseen what the NBA would come. How could they? Like, it was college basketball that was head and shoulders over pro basketball. What is this pro basketball thing? So, gosh. But I'm not here to whine about what we don't have. I'm just asking the question, why aren't we a little more connected to this Knicks team? And I think there are a few reasons for this. One, if you had to rank the 4 sports that we care about in this town in order, and I'm pushing, I'm not slamming soccer. I'm not going to include soccer. I'm just talking about from the major league perspective, right? And yes, there's MLS, but it's not at the level of the other 4. I would put them in this order, okay? Lapping the field, the NFL and the Buffalo Bills. What's next? And this may make my bosses unhappy here, but there is a section of people here in our town that, like, stop talking hockey. Like, good friend of the show, sponsor of the show, Havana Mo. Gee, you talk too much hockey. Like, there are people that don't like hockey. So I think we have to factor that in. For that reason, I would say in our town, it goes NFL by a mile.
Yep.
Ahead of hockey at number 2, I would put MLB. And then at 3, and that could bounce around, but baseball it's on an upswing here the last few years. Hockey is at 3. And who knows, the Sabres may, like, propel that sport. And then the NBA is at 4th. The NBA is, oh, okay, the finals are here. Let's kind of watch and tune in. There are Yankee fans. Like, and DA asked me this question too. Like, okay, well, who's the 3rd most popular team in Rochester? I think that's easy. I think it's the Yankees. I'm just going from the pro sports. You could make an argument that, hey, Syracuse basketball, when they're winning, would be ahead of the Sabres. But they haven't been winning. And Syracuse football, gosh, if they ever got relevant. Now, that's another thing we could kind of layer in here. Like, if you wanted to say college football, well, that's the pro sport these days, Gene. Okay, that's fair. College football will also be ahead of the NBA. So I think that's a factor, is that it's just a bandwidth issue here for us, where in many other places in our country, the NBA would not be checking in at 4 or 5 in terms of fan interest. But if you disagree with that, I'd be welcome to hear why I'm wrong on that. But I just think that's part of the issue. Another part of the issue, too, is that we don't have a team here. Okay? No, we don't have a Major League Baseball team here, but things are more ingrained when it comes to baseball. Your mom or dad grew up with the Yankees on WPIX and then on Yes. Or maybe it was the Mets on Channel 9 and now on SNY. You've always had those baseball roots in our town. And then, hey, maybe you like baseball? You want to see the next generation of Orioles or Twins? Let's go to a ball game. We don't have anything like that. We don't. For 1 year, we had the Razor Sharks. They weren't affiliated with anything, but they had names like Lazara Sims, Chris Carrawell from Duke. It was fun, and I called that game 6,500 at the Blue Cross Arena. And then you realize this league isn't very organized and teams are going out of business. No, we've never had anything like that. So, in terms of keeping your interest as a fan of the sport, yeah, if you like hockey, you go to an Amherst game locally. Or if you love baseball, hey, here's the Red Wings, and you'll see this upcoming prospect. You don't have anything like that for the NBA. It's kind of unfortunate. And could we ever be a G League town? I don't think so. Like, at one point, we had, like, the crown of being the best minor league town in America. But you know what? Our palate's gotten a little sharper. So unless there's some owner that's willing to take big losses and put it out there, I just don't think there's enough room on the landscape here for a G League team or anything like that. But it brings back to the Knicks. This is a fun team. And I think part of this, too, and I was Mr. Doubting Thomas over here. Okay, they're farting around with Atlanta. Atlanta, what are they doing? And I didn't see them putting their foot to the pedal. No, I did not. So this is fun, and it's okay to get on board. Like, I'm not going to be one of these people that wave my finger at Sabre fans. No, you weren't here during the drought. Look, don't. If you're an NBA fan, don't do that to anybody who wants to just kind of, step in and enjoy the Knicks from here. So here in the sports bar, yes, we will talk NHL final. It's NHL Stanley Cup final, NBA finals. That's the grammar. I don't know why they do that. But to me, I think the Knicks are the more interesting story right now. And we got the matchup we wanted. I think Oklahoma City somehow the public vilified these guys. But then you realize, oh, wait a second. How did that market get that team? And somebody put together this string of SGA flopping in the Western Conference. It's actually pretty funny, just falling down for no reason. That might have gotten in his head. He was bad in Game 6, invisible in Game 7, and people are going to say, oh, Wembanyama. Maybe he drew so much attention, but, it was San Antonio knocking down their threes. That's why they advanced. So we have the Spurs moving on to the final. Last time these two teams, the Knicks and the Spurs, met in the final. Again, that was the last time the Knicks were in the final. And on this show, probably the only show in America, I will point out, the first time the Knicks were in the final, they lost in 7 games to the Rochester Royals. 585-866-4326. Tim, do I have the order right on that in our town?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think part of it is the fact that we have the Red Wings and the Amerks to keep tabs with those sports, and we don't have a G League team to pay attention to or follow along. Like, we've got Syracuse basketball, but Syracuse basketball isn't what it was a decade ago.
No, and nobody stepped up here in town. By nobody, I mean like our local colleges and universities. And it's way different now. The window to go D1, it's all changed. It has. Even if you want to be like a Patriot League team, and where I've said all along, we want a D1 team, I'd be like, well, yeah, buyer beware now, because where's the world heading? You might have the Big Ten and the SEC saying, yeah, you know what, we're splitting off, and then maybe we have 2 tournaments at some point. It's not crazy to think. So, like, the D1 dream right now, I don't know what that'll look 10 years from now. But, yeah, name me another market our size that doesn't have, within our radius, a Division I basketball team. Gosh, if we had one team, Division I, and you have 1 or 2 players that we all kind of, maybe they're not from Rochester, but we watch them, and then they go up. Hey, I remember watching that guy. We don't have that. I mean, I wish more people would be into the Section 5 basketball. I mean, obviously, it's the talent that's kind of come through here. 585-866-4326 is our phone number. But I think, yeah, we'll talk more Knicks as the week goes along. That'll start out on Wednesday. Potential game 7 would be June 19th. So, yeah, the finals, that'll be stretched out over just a few weeks. But, I'm fine with that.
And that's a big day for us.
That is 19th. We'll be throwing out the first pitch. I will be flanked by Dan DeLorean and Tim Schneider. I'm inviting everybody I know to this game, and we'll have tickets for you to win. So that's kind of the cool part too here. I'm hoping we get good weather for that.
Me too.
That would be it. That would be it. And I don't know, Toledo. While you brought up the Wings, let's give you kind of the update on the Wings. So had they won yesterday, that would have been their 22nd win in a calendar month. They haven't done that since 1997. 97. Last time they won the Governor's Cup. Well, they didn't win yesterday. And as a result, right now they're a half game back of Memphis. So this is going to be fun. So the Wings now are going to Lehigh Valley for the week, today being the travel day, and then they're back home against Worcester, and they're back home against Toledo. And that date you mentioned, that Toledo, it's that Sunday where you wrap up the first half. So the idea that we have meaningful baseball, I don't expect the Wings just kind of fall flat. This is an indicator, though, that this all may not be real, is that if you're just going by good old-fashioned run differential, the Wings right now are plus 18, which, hey, that's not bad. In a 20-team league, wait, do the math here, and they're in second? There are 5 teams behind the Wings in the standings with the same or better run differential, including Toledo. Toledo is 8.5 games back of the Wings. So, okay, that's fine. The Wings are winning close games. Are they? In one-run games, the Wings are only 6-6. So there's been a few games that they no-showed, and I think that might be skewing part of this. But if you continue to find different ways to win, who knows? We're not asking for this team to do this until the 4th of July. I'm just asking, can you get to Toledo week, and would you sign up for that right now? Toledo week, half game back in the standings.
Absolutely. That's a playoff race in June.
Yeah, and then that half game is going to be made up in that series against Worcester. That was a rain out, so it'll be one of those weird things where, like, okay, Worcester is actually the home team. Up to bat first are your Rochester Red Wings. Clap, clap, clap. So good crowds over the weekend at the Wings, and I do love the fact that we get some Section 5 baseball at ESL. Like, I'm glad that kind of worked out. So if you're somebody, go out and support your local teams with that. With Zig Fracassi coming up later. Want to get to this too. Is that I've had thoughts on this. I saw this, and then sure enough, I'm getting in my car, and if you're doing like morning drive, I would assume Buffalo is the same at Rochester, but you're putting your meatiest, juiciest thing somewhere in the neighborhood of 7:45 to 8:15. Why? Because that's when most people are on the road at the time. So not a surprise that Jeremy White at 7:45 took this head on. It's a reminder that Tom Brady, while you respect everything he's done, he just doesn't get it sometimes. This is Tom Brady going on a UFC podcast talking about practice squad players.
I learned this, again, over a period of years, but there's 53 guys on the active roster, and there's now 15 guys on the practice squad. So there's 68 players. But those practice squad players are important because if anybody on the active roster gets hurt, they can get elevated to the squad. Well, there was times where these 15 guys would do really well in practice, and they'd be practicing, and you'd be like a scout team receiver. And I saw this happen a lot. These scout team receivers would come in and practice with, the scout team, and they'd do really well. And I'd be watching. I'd be like, man, we got to get that guy. Let's get him up on offense. He's making a lot of plays. That's Darrelle Revis he's getting open on.
Yeah.
We got to do something. Then all of a sudden, we're like, hey, man, you're doing really well. You got to come over here and deal with the pressure of succeeding now that you have expectation. And these guys are like, they weren't prepared for it. So whatever we saw in practice against where there was not a lot of pressure, now when they're put in a situation where there's an expectation for performance, they've never had to personally deal with that. And then they fail. And then what I realized was a lot of guys in those practice squads, they don't want to be elevated to the roster. They're very happy living this life where they could tell their family and friends, which I have no problem with that. There's no problem. You would just assume, though, that if you're on the practice squad, you'd want to be at the top. But the reality is a lot of guys don't want the pressure of dealing with top.
Okay, where do we begin with that? There are two things he is blatantly off base on. And I'll give the disclaimer here, right? In life, there really aren't. There are a few absolutes. This is 100% true or 100% false. I don't doubt that Tom Brady, over his long career, had a teammate on the practice squad that indeed was like, yeah, this is really good. I'm just kind of doing my thing, and I'll take checks here. I'm not going to dispute that. Okay, maybe there is a guy or two like that in the league today. But to paint everybody with a broad brush like that, okay. The first thing he's way off on, Guys that go up have never had to deal with this expectation? What the hell were they doing before they got on the practice squad? I'm going to assume they were playing college football, right? And if you're playing college football and you're good enough to get onto an NFL practice squad, then you're performing, right? So you are performing to an expectation at a certain level. So I don't know, unless every guy was coming from NFL Europe or whatever it was. No, I'm joking. Like that's crazy. And then the idea that, well, you're comfortable and you want to do this for your friends and family. This is where Brady is off base, right? That the NFL, you just can't will yourself to do whatever it is you choose in life. He did, and that's great for him. But that's not how everybody else works. Like if I just ate avocados and drank water or whatever the hell his witchcraft is, like all of a sudden, am I going to be hosting First Take? I don't think I would want to host that show. But the point is, like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a disconnect between, like, when you're so great, like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, same thing. Like, there's a disconnect between expectation of just being successful and absolute greatness. And there's no way to, I guess, compute that.
There's no way. And that's why those guys are terrible head coaches. Like Larry Bird may be the exception on that, but Gretzky failed. All these guys, Ted Williams failed. How is it that somebody that it could be so great can't manage? Well, because they put an expectation. They don't understand that it's not the expectation that you're going to be the next Tom Brady as a wide receiver or to the Brady level as an offensive lineman or whatever it is. Just talk to any youth coach. Can you maximize and get the most out of that kid? And for the practice squad player, the reason they're on the practice squad because they're smart people, coaches, executives that recognize, hey, this guy doesn't have as much talent as somebody else. Like in the NFL, you can go pluck any practice squad player you want and put him on the 53. And why doesn't that happen? Because we have this ridiculously long process called training camp, right? And preseason. And you get enough tape on these guys. And if there's some inequity, an inefficiency, like, wait a second, what is he doing over there? Pluck. And you'll get moves like that. It's also now the 53 and the 68. See, what he doesn't realize, too, is look at Brandon Beane. Look how the Buffalo Bills and other teams manage it. The practice squad is really just an extension of your game day squad. The 53 is really 68. You will get guys that get elevated. Hell, Jordan Poyer came on and onboarded on the practice squad. A lot of these guys. It's just a reminder that with Brady, like the Alex Guerrero stuff, it felt all kind of cultish at the end. And it's a good reminder.
Ow! Ow! It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
Breaking news. What do we have? Tim Schneider.
Myles Garrett has been traded.
What?
Myles Garrett to the Rams, according to Adam Schefter, literally a second ago.
Oh, Tim, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, my gosh, they didn't wait.
Yeah, so that happened. Trying to find more details. Jared Verse is involved and a first-round pick.
A first-round pick?
Yes.
Myles Garrett to the Rams.
Myles Garrett for Jared Verse and a first.
Can we just hand the Rams the Lombardi Trophy
I think
right
so.
now?
That feels like the math there.
Oh, wow. If you're putting this in the Bills' perspective, okay, thank goodness he didn't go to Kansas City or Baltimore or any team that might have lined up. Something was off. Like, why did Myles Garrett have this contract that all of a sudden would allow for something like this? Oh, I cannot wait to discuss this. And, Tim, there have been two monumental things that have happened to the Cleveland Browns, and both times you've been on the air.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Tim's face, and I'm like, okay, I'm Like, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Something but stupid about Tom Brady 2 seconds ago. And the look on your face, I'm like, what? What do we have?
I think I just saw a ghost. Like, I don't know if I've ever reacted like I'm shaking. I don't know why.
Myles Garrett in Los Angeles as a Ram. For first and a first? Okay, you get cap relief. Who cares? Oh. See, now if you put this back home, Brandon Beane, whoa, why didn't you do this? Part of the reason that maybe he didn't go to your favorite team, I'm going to put the Bills or whoever, fill in the blank, is that you need the athlete to sign off on this. Myles Garrett, even though a trade isn't free agency, you need him fully invested in the new team. So I'm sure there were other things that were on paper, and for him, Los Angeles is going to suit him just fine. Oh, boy. Myles Garrett is an LA Ram. Well, then.
I think I'm having a panic attack. I don't really know how to feel right now.
Oh.
Like I can't feel. Everything in my body hurts. I think I just had a full, complete shutdown.
That's horrible. Like, when have we had a player top level get traded like this? I'm not talking Shohei Ohtani as a free agent going across town. I'm saying under contract, hey, it's June, and wow, the magic date of June 1st. While we're on the air, you're going through, are we 100% sure you didn't get got here?
No, I am on Adam Schefter's Twitter account itself, not some shunter or whatever the fake things are. It's his actual Twitter account. He's made 5 tweets about it in 7 minutes. It's a thing.
Yeah. More about the Browns and Rams finalizing a blockbuster trade for Myles Garrett. Oh, Tim, and for every Browns fan. Funny thing is, I woke up this morning. I'm not kidding you. I asked Spencer German to come on the show, like our Browns reporter, Rochester Roots, thinking, all right, he's going to come on. We're going to throw cold water on this. Oh, no. It's a 5-alarm fire. I cannot believe. All right, so let's regroup. Myles Garrett is a Cleveland Brown. No more. He's with the LA Rams. Traded. We'll discuss this trade. Zig Fracassi will be joining us next hour. You can join us as well. If for nothing else, I think Tim needs your support today. 585-866-4326. My name is Gene Battaglia here on WGR Rochester. Blockbuster trade in the NFL. Myles Garrett goes from the Cleveland Browns to the LA Rams. Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick. Other draft compensation, this according to Adam Schefter, being worked out, but Myles Garrett heading to LA. It's the Knicks and Spurs in the NBA Finals. Knicks head coach Mike Brown on their opponents.
It's going to be tough. They're well coached. They have obviously a tremendous player in Wemby, and then they're quote unquote young to a certain degree, but they have some really good veterans on the team that kind of uplift the young guys and give the young guys a lot of guidance.
Rochester Red Wings remaining a half game back in the IL race. They are in action tomorrow at Lehigh Valley. Yankees in action tomorrow at home against Cleveland. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader, WGR Rochester.
Top Shelf Sports Talk. You're hanging out in the sports bar with Gene Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR, Rochester.
Imagine you're Jared Verse just going about your day. Maybe we're going to get a workout in. You're waking up in the morning, West Coast time, like, yeah, we got to talk to you. About what?
You're going to Cleveland, buddy.
You've been traded. It's like the scene from Moneyball where you really have to make it cold and unemotional. It's ripping off the Band-Aid. You've been traded to the Cleveland Browns. Come with us. I can't believe this. Now, it's a little vague, this report. And maybe it's hey, we want to be the first ones out. And it's also kind of bizarre to see under the ESPN header, there's 3 guys in on this. The byline, as you would call it. Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Adam Schefter. Okay, that I don't think that's in alphabetical order. But the idea is that this is real. And that the Rams, other draft compensation, I would have to think that would be more than just Jared Verse and a first-round pick. You're the Cleveland Browns. You have to be asking, I would think, for 3 first-round picks, 28 and 29 going into it. And the Rams, hey, just when you thought, they drafted Ty Simpson, right? All of a sudden they were going to become the draft and develop team. No. We're going back to the FDM picks. And for the Rams, a team that was right on the doorstep, I will talk to PJ Glasser on Wednesday. I mean, what does this do for their Super Bowl odds? What does this do in the division now? It's the Rams division, right? Like, to have somebody like that. And this is the team that the last time around they won a Super Bowl, it's not that long ago, but 2 of the main guys on defense no longer there. Now, one guy was there just kind of a rental, but it worked. And Von Miller went there for half a season, and he got a Super Bowl championship out of it. Other guy being Aaron Donald. If you really want to get ballsy, if I'm Sean McVay, I'm not picking up the phone and calling. If I knew where Aaron Donald lived, I'd be like, buddy, door's always open. Like, that would be enticing. Now, it's been a few years for Aaron Donald since he's been out there, but maybe the body's feeling really good, and you see this opportunity. Maybe he's all kind of done, but I'm just kind of curious, like, where that kind of goes from here. But let's say that's it. And this is why the NFL kind of leaking the story to you in this way. Other draft compensation that's being negotiated. And I'm sorry, you're the Browns. You're not making this trade without knowing exactly what's coming back, right? I'm sorry, you're not announcing this. This almost feels like, hey, we want to make sure that everybody's tuning in at 7 and 8 o'clock tonight just to make sure what the parameters of this deal is. I'm stunned that we only have a partial of this. Tim, okay, so now, if you're new to the show, a little bit of a history lesson. Okay, Sports Bar 1.0. We would have Danger on the show doing his thing, and then Danger would, have other Danger responsibilities. And then always kind of stepping in whenever need be. Just like you are not what Tom Brady would talk about, okay? You step in and you perform. And it's a day in March. And after it was down, the reports are, all right, for Deshaun Watson, it's either the Falcons or the Saints. The Falcons or the Saints. And then we're on the air together. It's the Cleveland Browns who offer $250 million guaranteed, never before. And it's I can't believe they did that. And then the horror of, oh my gosh, what if this goes wrong?
And it did.
And it did. And it did. So, Tim, you can't be surprised that the Browns actually did this. All the red flags, warning signs, whatever cliche you would want to use, they were all there. And yet it feels like, a gut punch. Tim, my first question to you is, how are you?
Awful. I am physically unwell right now. I am trying to figure out how, like you said, it's not a surprise, but it's a surprise every time something like this happens so often that it should not come as a surprise that the Browns find a way to screw something. He's the best defensive player possibly in NFL history, and they're getting almost nothing for him in return. And they did it just to do it. Like, what is the benefit of doing such a thing?
Well, okay, you do get Verse back. Would you, like in a world today, trade a first-round pick for Jared Verse? Well, if we're going by the Micah Parsons deal, that was 2 firsts. Green Bay gave up, the team doesn't do anything like that. They gave up 2 first-round picks. And right now, we only know of 1. So that's why I'm like, this can't be it.
Yeah, there's some vague wording with the draft pick. It just says additional draft pick compensation. What does that mean? Like, is that a couple more firsts? Is that a second and a third? Is that pick swaps or something? We don't know the answer to it, and it does change the trajectory of the trade. Not knowing what that is, though.
Well, the Browns lose this trade. Okay, just 100%. Understand that. They lost this. And maybe they're doing right by Myles Garrett, because if you go back to the offseason and this deal was renegotiated and he's actually deferring money, why? Why would you do that? And this is where everybody was like, oh, no. And it could have been when he took that deal with the Browns, could have been a handshake. I'm going back the previous year. So I'll paint the picture. It's Super Bowl week in New Orleans, and the top story for us here is locally, oh my gosh, Josh Allen won the MVP, and it's really good, and they have the NFL honors and blah, blah, blah. Also at Radio Row, going around is Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett had just put out a statement that said, hey, that he wanted to be traded. And then the Browns handed him the contract that would pay him the most money of all time. And then that got renegotiated where they're talking about deferred money. Why would you defer money? Is the owner in that much financial straits? No, it's the NFL. Everybody makes money. They print money. They're their own GDP, right? It's crazy. What happened behind the scenes? What happened? Did Myles Garrett go and say, get me out, and they did right? And this is all you got in return. This is it. If we're going with the 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons, Jared Verse in the first, and additional draft compensation. Tim, I'm stunned that the report is that flimsy right now, that you just wanted to get this out there, I suppose, that we're going to wait. Like, will we find out before we better find out before the end of the day if you're a Browns fan.
Yeah, the not knowing is insane to me. That the story, I mean, sure, you push it out because you have the information, but we don't have all the information. And we've got Myles Garrett going to L.A., but what's coming back to Cleveland?
Yeah, and I see a lot of people on X right now. Yeah. Meanwhile, we loaded up our defense with Bradley Chubb in a nickel corner. Okay. You do understand that Myles Garrett would have to sign off on this, a trade to Buffalo. or trade to wherever. You just, like a player of that magnitude, you can't send them somewhere without against their will. Now, it could have been as simple as, do the Buffalo Bills have a young talent like Jared Verse?
Yeah, if you don't have the pieces available to go get him, you can't go get him.
You can't go get him. So, and this is another point I want to make out too. Let's just say, hey, you know what, Tim? It's actually Jared Verse and 2 first-round picks. The first-round picks for the Rams aren't going to be very good. It's 32. They're picking at 32. You know what? From a Bills standpoint, you could say, well, thank goodness he's out of the AFC. I hate this. Like, the Rams have a golden ticket now to get to the Super Bowl.
Before the trade, they were already the favorite.
Now it's like, what are we doing? Like, they are loaded. That defense was already vicious, and now you're putting in the best defensive player in the game today? The best defensive player in the history of the Browns franchise? And again, what I said before break, don't stop there if you're the Rams. You pick up the phone. You want to say, hey, Aaron, come on back, buddy. Who else could you bring back?
Oh, if they do that.
Yeah, this is like, at this point, why not just make it an all-star game? Trade every pick that you possibly can and just load up from that standpoint. It even makes it a little more ridiculous unless say, Ty Simpson ends up being the dude. But, okay, we watch college football, right? Did you see Ty Simpson in Alabama and you thought, oh my gosh, yeah, that guy, he's going to be a great NFL quarterback? Not me. And we talked about this on the show. I don't know if you still have it, but the idea that Sean McVay he was pissy draft night. Couldn't hide his emotions. Like usually, hey, I disagree with the pick, but we're going to get up there and we're going to smile and we're going to say the right stuff. And it was very unlike McVay when he got up there. Tim, that's okay if you can't find it because we're just kind of reacting to all this in real time here. McVay was not happy with the signing of Ty Simpson. Now I'm thinking, boy, why you pick 13 on something else this year rather than a development guy? Yes, sure. Like Simpson may get in there as a rookie. I doubt it. Like Stafford can you get one more year out of the guy before his neck turns to sawdust? I am stunned. Stunned. Well, here I was going to read all these mean tweets to me, Tim.
Yeah, no, that kind of got put on our head here.
Let's get your thoughts, your reaction. 585-866-4326. If you're watching on YouTube and Twitch, you saw a reaction in real time. Myles Garrett is an LA Ram. And no, he didn't go to the Bills or your favorite team. This is the Sports Bar here on WGR Rochester.
Talking the Flower City, the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR, Rochester.
So while we're in break, our engineer Derek comes down, and everybody knows Tim is a Browns fan. Welcome back in. And it goes up to Tim's like, it's okay. You might be able to do something with that 32nd overall pick next year.
I'm having an actual issue functioning as a human being right now.
Tim, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait anymore. This is what the people want, all right? If there's ever a day we want to hear Tim's thoughts, it's today.
It's now time for Terrible Time Timmy's Terrible Take of the Day on WGR Rochester. WGR Rochester. It's Terrible Time Timmy.
The Cleveland Browns have broken me as a human being. I am soulless. I am heartless. I am desireless. I have no more will to function as a sports fan. And this happens on a yearly basis. Maybe not to this extent, but the Browns somehow, some way ruin. I love football. Everybody loves football. But the Browns make it so hard for me to care about football more than other sports because they keep doing stuff like this. The Giants signed OBJ. That was the story this morning. And I was like, okay, who cares? OBJ, whatever. Now we've got Myles Garrett going to the Rams for virtually nothing compared to what the Micah Parsons trade and the original Max Crosby trade was. Jared Verse, fine player. A first-round pick that's going to be in the 20s at best is not good enough for somebody like Myles Garrett, who is already a certified Hall of Famer. He's going to Canton. That's a thing. And they do this all the time. They traded for Deshaun Watson. Awful human, awful football player. He hasn't done anything in about 8 years, and he's still with the franchise. But this guy, Myles Garrett, can't be part of that fixture. What are we doing? I cannot function, and I cannot formulate a thought because they keep finding a way to spurn me as a fan.
Okay, a couple thoughts, right? Because Buffalo fans are very good at self-loathing. Oh, we did it again, like the Eeyore. Oh, we know. No. We have had hope. We have had winning teams. What has been the hope for the Browns? Honestly, Tim. Thought number two. You're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Like that.
The bad way.
Right. Leave.
It's one of those things where when you care about somebody so much, it doesn't matter how bad they are to you. That's how I'm stuck. I can't leave. It's a toxic relationship that I should have no part of, but I'm loyal to somebody who's not loyal to me.
Funny, with the Deshaun Watson stuff, we had people waving their finger. That's it. I'm done. I'm never a fan of this team again. At least this is a move that, all right, maybe it's not a good football move, but at least you're getting some things in return. The Deshaun Watson thing was you're paying a bad human being to come in, and people were very upset about that. And I'm going to just paint with a broad brush here. Did it really change the world? Did the Browns really have less people going to games? Did people really not care about Cleveland Brown football? No, you got over it. Now, part of it was the guy wasn't healthy or whatever it was.
Or good. Or on the field.
The other part of what Eric said, too, you get a good prospect. Maybe you can get another quarterback developmental guy at pick 32. Ooh.
If this trade becomes if the guy that they draft ends up being a Hall of Famer, maybe it'll work out. But right now, why would you even consider it? There's no purpose to do this trade. The Rams wanted to do something. The Rams went and got it done, but the Browns didn't have to play ball.
So what happened between, again, go back to Super Bowl week. It's 2025, okay, the calendar year. It's February 2025 and today. Meaning, hey, I want to trade. No, here's a contract. Oh, good, I get a contract.
You got both.
then he gives back the guarantees and kicks him down the road and opens up this window to get dealt. At what time did he say, get me out of here? I would just, we're going to find out, I hope, or maybe not. And this is the problem today with the NFL, that the NFL Network and ESPN are in cahoots. So we got to rely, well, I don't know, is there somebody, not questioning the journalistic integrity of Mary Kay Cabot. What I'm saying is, for Schefter and all these other guys, are they really going to dig deep and like, what the hell happened here? Why did you feel the need to trade the best defensive player in the game today to a team that doesn't really need it? Oh, in case you forgot, the Rams also got Trent McDuffie. Fantastic. So, and you could say, well, he's at the downside, life cycle of a corner. No, he's still very, very good. And for 1-2 years, that's all you need here. All you need. And maybe Myles Garrett will only be there another year or two. I am absolutely floored that this is the compensation, that they're being this vague right now. Tim, it would have to be first-round picks in 27, 28, and 29 to make it worth our while.
I would agree with that because I think based on the other trades, like the Michael Parsons trade, that kind of laid the groundwork for the expectation of it, and it's not even close to it right now.
I'm also going to throw something out here, okay? Because if you go back to the NFL owners meetings from March, okay, and you always have, hey, let's talk about trades, or rule changes. The Browns proposed this rule change that the NFL become more like the NBA, where you could send picks 5 years out. Tim, why did they do that now?
I think now, that's our Windhorse fingers.
It's like, now we know. Like, all right, can we get 5 first-round picks? Because by the time this runs its course in Los Angeles, okay, the Rams will have 1, and Myles Garrett will be on the downside, and they'll suck in the year 2030. Can we get the 2030 first-round pick? No, you can't. Yet that should have been the tell right there that the Browns were wanting picks, kind of like how it was OKC. Like OKC became OKC because they were just, first round pick 7 years from now? Sure, why not? No, we don't like that as fans. We don't, no. Pick, right, we're like, 3 years out, very good. And this is where I would say this should kind of be the number, right? Verse and 3 first-round picks. If that's the case, okay. But as you pointed out, the Max Crosby deal had more teeth to it. Certainly the Micah Parsons did. Versus a fine player. And what did he do to deserve this?
Right.
What the hell?
Imagine, like he's from Ohio, so I guess he's like not going to the worst places on earth for somebody who's already been there. But he was sitting pretty decent in LA, and now he's got to uproot his life and go to the Cleveland Browns, who obviously they find value in him if that's the answer for Myles Garrett. But you're going from a situation to potentially being teammates with this guy, and you're the compensation for him.
Yeah, Garrett, who had the single-season sack record last year, is now with the Rams. Like, yeah, you think you're getting a good player in Los Angeles? You are. The Super Bowl future odds, just within the last hour, have moved from Rams as the leader at plus 700, now down to plus 650.
That's instant reaction.
Instant reaction. I'm going to make another prediction. By the time we get on the air tomorrow, that'll go down even further. In case you're curious, like the teams that are behind, the Seahawks, Bills, and Ravens are next up on the list at all plus 1,000, which doesn't it feel like the Seahawks without Kenneth Walker and now the Rams loading up, there's more of a gap than ever. Like to me,
it's June 1st.
It's June 1st.
And it feels like that we can already tell you what's going to happen in February. Like, I'm not saying don't watch the NFL, but the Rams the favorite by a lot.
I hate this from the Bills standpoint because I can make a really good argument, lay it all out, and the coaching change is part of it, that this is the year the Bills get over the top. That this is the year that the Bills win the division, and they're going to figure out a way, and maybe it'll involve one road game in the playoffs. But you don't want to get to the Super Bowl and like, yay, we got to the Super Bowl. No, you want to win the damn thing. And if you have to face that team on the other side, Zig Verkossi will join us next hour, where the plan with Zig was, hey, it's New York. Let's talk about the Knicks. Nope. Show today. And if you're just tuning in, getting in your car, what are they talking about? The Cleveland Browns have traded Myles Garrett to the LA Rams for Jared Verse, 2027 first-round pick, and according to Adam Schefter, additional draft compensation is being negotiated, which is weird because if that's part of the negotiation, then no deal is happening until you say, like, that. I don't know why we're hearing this piecemeal here. Gene Battaglia with you here, WGR Rochester.
WGR Rochester.
Hey, it's Gene Battaglia. Shopping for double pane windows. Well, nothing beats the new Illumilite windows, the upgrade from Window Nation. The new Illumilite windows are designed to offer triple pane performance with the look and weight of double pane. That's because they use Triton Advanced triple pane glass, which means Window Nation's Illumilite windows are more energy efficient. They reduce outside noise by 15% or more, and they offer more glass area than comparable windows. That all adds up to windows that are easier to open, have an unmatched level of clarity, and make your home comfortable year-round. Plus, they're backed by a limited lifetime warranty. And now's the best time to upgrade your home's windows during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows with new Illumilite ones and getting half of them for free. Plus, you can even get them with no money down and no monthly payments or interest for 2 years. Illumilite windows, available exclusively from the trusted experts at Window Nation. Schedule your consultation now by calling Window Nation at 866-90NATION or go to windownation.com.
Paid actors represent actual client.
2 and W239BF Rochester. The sports leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR Rochester. An Odyssey sports station. WGR Rochester. Sports update.
The window is open for the Browns to trade Myles Garrett. They did just that today. Garrett goes from Cleveland to the LA Rams. According to Dale Ryder on our sister station, the compensation, Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. It's the Knicks and the Spurs in the NBA Finals. Victor Wembanyama going to his first finals. He wants to make the most of it.
Winning the Larry O'Brien, it's a childhood dream, and having a real shot at it, having a chance, tangible chance at winning it, at realizing a dream, it's a chance. It's a lifetime chance. You never know when it's going to happen again, but it's hard to put into words. It's almost like the meaning of my life,
Travel day for the Wings. They begin a series tomorrow at Lehigh Valley. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, WGR Rochester.
Welcome into the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia, where the voice of the Rochester fan is heard. Pull up a stool and join us at 866-4326. This is WGR Rochester, and the Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia is on now.
Hour number 2 here as we roll on in the Sports Bar. Gene Battaglia with you. And I'm sorry to spoil that for you, Tim. We've had Daryl Ryder on the show before. He's a Browns reporter. Again, the compensation. I'm just stunned. Like, if you had to just put the three beside, this is how I would rank them. Like, Max Crosby is a good player. Micah Parsons, in my opinion, a little bit better of a player. Micah Parsons went for 2 first-round picks. And here, Myles Garrett, you couldn't get 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. Okay, you get Jared Verse, and you get a second-round pick, and 3 years from now, you'll get a third-round pick. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, Myles Garrett went for that? The only way this could happen, and I can't wait to hopefully get some nuggets on this, is that this was kind of sort of a mandate, which for a player under contract, that's a little unsavory. But I would have to think there would have been a team that would have offered more. Like your Brandon Beane, you don't think that the Buffalo Bills, if they had an opportunity to bid on this, would have put in 2, maybe even 3 first-round picks? That's an ownership call, mind you. Like, you don't make a blockbuster move with this without running it by Mr. P. But for Myles Garrett, you ultimately hold the cards. You could walk away. You make sure that that player is fully involved. And the idea that the Browns proposed this rule back in March that got shot down, as they should, like, hey, we actually need more compensation. Rather than 3 years out, let's push the window to 5 years. Okay, well, no, sorry, Browns. That's a tell there that this has been in the works for months. Myles Garrett is an LA Ram, and Tim, if it were 3 first-round picks and Jared Verse, I'd say, all right, there's something here. But
I still don't even know if I would. Like,
yeah,
I am truly struggling because the FCC would be hounding me if I could actually say what I would like to say. It's just swear words right now. I can't stop thinking about what I am not allowed to say, so it makes it very tough to speak on this because they found a way. And I'm holding out a little bit of hope here because that the tweet that Daryl Ryder had said the framework, so I'm hopeful that there's more pieces to it, but if there's that many pieces to a puzzle and there's more than that, I feel like it would all be announced at once, and that seems like the announcement to me, if that's true. And there should be more because that's not enough. But it's the Browns.
It's the Browns, and why aren't we hearing everything? Is it the Browns PR department just saying, yeah, we traded him away? Oh, well, we'll have the answer later on. They're not being forthright what they got back in the trade. You would want your fan base to say, get excited about this, be like, yeah, look, we're sorry, but we're getting all this in return. And they did the complete opposite. I'm stunned that that's it. I am stunned that Max Crosby would have gone for 2 first, or that you would have had you did have Micah Parsons go for 2 first.
And these are going to be low-end first-round picks. Like, the Rams are not going to be bad.
They're not going to be bad. Tim, they're a playoff team. Blindfolded. Like, honestly, they could take September off and still win the damn division.
Legitimately, they could start 0-4. They won't. They can start 0-4 and win out and be just fine. Like, they've got an absolutely stacked roster, not just defensively with Myles Garrett now, but they've got Matthew Stafford, who is an MVP caliber quarterback still, even at my age in the NFL. Like, they've got outstanding receivers, an awesome offense, and an awesome defense. They're runaway favorites for the Super Bowl right now in June. It feels like we can just put them in the playoffs already for sure.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl, by the way, is in L.A.
Yes.
Not that. I mean, the last time it was in L.A., they were more. I'm not kidding you. The Lakers were the headline story. Like, oh yeah, by the way, our team's in the Super Bowl and they're at home this week. Like, if it ends up being the Bills at the Rams in the Super Bowl, I don't think that the Bills will be like, oh my gosh, this is a home field advantage for the Rams. No, I don't think you have to worry about that. 585-866-4326. You're welcome to write in, call in, and just offer your condolences because, like, if you know a Cleveland fan in your life and in our area, chances are you do. Just check on them. Say, how you doing? Don't be like Derek that comes in just like with the sarcasm, like, well, you know, you could draft another developmental quarterback. Oh, that 32. You're like, yeah, there are plenty of jokes here to be had. Adam Schefter, by the way, listens to the Sports Bar here in Rochester because this is why, like, you should not use AI if you're at that level. But he did. He tweeted out a photo. Now, you could interpret this one of two ways. The photo is of 99 and 95. And obviously, Myles Garrett hasn't put on the Rams uniform yet. So it's an AI picture. And obviously, he's never been on the field in a Rams uniform with Aaron Donald also in a Rams uniform. And what is that saying? Is that just saying simply, hey, you went from an all-time great and now you have an all-time great? Or is this saying something else? Oh, and I don't know if this is something or nothing, but in the world of NFL insiderdom, this is from 10 minutes ago, Jordan Schultz just tweeted out the googly eyes. And that has nothing to do with this trade. The trade would have been you know what I'm talking about, the eyes wide open. That's to tell you something's coming up here. And what? Is this an A.J. Brown trade? What would this be? Here's what I could tell you what's happened in the time being in the NFL, that the New York Giants not only have signed OBJ, they have signed Juju Smith-Schuster.
That is going to put asses in seats in New York.
See, that's the thing. Like, now you're WFA in New York, you're like, really? Like, this is what we get? You're using the Buffalo Bills approach at wide receiver. Okay, let's just kind of throw a lot of S up against the wall. OBJ, Juju. I'm surprised that we haven't reached the Juju in Buffalo portion of his career. Like, he's been everywhere else.
It feels like that would be a Bills thing to do, too.
It's a very Billsy thing to do. Like, if it doesn't work out with the Giants, next stop Buffalo. Like, Tim, if I gave you the bet at 3-1 odds right now, Juju Smith-Schuster will be a Buffalo Bill before his career's over. Would you take that bet?
It'll happen, yeah. I'm on board with that occurring.
Yeah, I would not go anywhere near the opposite of that. Zig Fracassi, who just tweeted out himself, hey, I'm going on with old friend Gene to talk about the NFL and the Stanley Cup. Sure. The Stanley Cup final might be a thing. It's like, just real quick, Tim. Here's the quick story. So Friday night, I'm doing work. Yes, on a Friday night because we had all these lacrosse games, and I had the hockey game on. And I'm not watching the hockey game, but I can hear the call. Oh, another goal, another goal, another goal. And I just put out this simple tweet. And the tweet was this: Carolina, Las Vegas final. No thank you.
Simple enough.
From our corner of the world here, for you, the Rochesterian, okay, do you want to see, and granted, Carolina is very good, but to me, that is still shades of 06, 07. Do you really want to see Jack Eichel win another cup? That's all I said was, no, thank you. Didn't say I wasn't going to watch. I said, no, I'm not into this matchup. Not that I really would have been just very passionate about the Montreal Canadiens. No, not that either. But I wake up the next morning because I turn off my phone. And I don't know if it's ever happened to you. This has happened to you, Tim. It's never really happened to me where I look at my phone and I've got 18 notifications. And I'm like, what the hell happened here? Well, for some reason, this tweet, you know, the lords of Elon there decided we're going to put this in the algorithm. And it's not one fan base, but two fan bases that are upset with me. This is good. If you like mean tweets, I'll read these in a nice voice. Again, Friday night, simple enough tweet. Carolina Vegas final, no thank you. Drew, he's a Mets fan. Of course he's cranky. That's fair. Thanks for your input, Gene. Another one. Keep your fat ass out of the discourse, you bleep. Okay, now it's getting nasty. Go bleep yourself. Here's another one. Go bleep yourself, Gene. Gary, I find it pathetic. I'm not even going to watch the NHL finals. And this from a radio hockey guy. I'm like, okay, now you're creeping on me if you're looking into my background. Now the one, and the only one I responded to because, all right, this burner is actually from somebody in Rochester, whoever Cranky Yankee is. Maybe the other team should have played better, Gene. Okay, you're missing my point there, Yankee. But my point to you is, like, put your name on it. That's the only thing. Like everything else. So I'm reading these on Saturday to my friends, my family, and they're like, "How do you handle this?" I'm like, I don't care. Like, honestly, you think that I woke up and it ruined my day that some anonymous account or a bot or whatever it is? Honestly, it doesn't. I don't care about Carolina and I don't care about Vegas. As much as you want to feel validated, Raleigh, or Vegas, get out of here. Number one, you go away. You're a great city. Number two, Raleigh, you go away as well. Like, as far as markets, if they said, hey, Gene, you could be the new voice of the Carolina Hurricanes. No, thank you. No, I'm happy up here. We have Zig Fracassi coming up. You weren't one of those bots that told me to go bleep myself,
No,
right?
I would never do that. And if I did, I would say it with my own name to it.
Oh,
so.
that's it. There's another guy who went by Doug. Doug called me Baldy. Wow, you
cut your hair.
Honestly, I'm trying. I'm follically impaired. How dare you? Please. Zig Fracassi, Sirius XM, will be joining us. Yeah. If you're, again, hey, what's going on today? Myles Garrett is now an LA Ram. And the Browns, in terms of the Hall, a first, a second, and a third, and Jared Verse.
Yeah, that's now been tweeted by Schefter, so sounds legit. Myles Garrett, Verse, 27-1, 28-2, 29-3.
You should resign as a Browns fan. You don't.
You're
need to
right.
do
I
this.
should.
You should. You should walk away. You don't need, because here's the thing with this owner, it will never happen.
I'm there with that. Yeah,
it will never happen for you. I understand. Like for Sabre fans, like okay, maybe someday, and we're still waiting. Or a Bills fan, maybe someday. It will never happen. So you don't need to be like, well, in the year 2035, I can say I stuck it out through this and that and that and that and that. No, it's time to walk away, Tim.
I think,
away.
I can't do it, but you are right. I will acknowledge that you are correct. I just know that I cannot do it. I'm excited for Myles Garrett to get to play with the real quarterback for the first time in his career, though. That's going to be awesome for him.
And
sad for me.
Yeah. Playing into, to think that the Browns every once in a while, like you'll see now Myles Garrett on national television. You will see him in spots in games. He will open the season in Australia. It's mind-blowing to me that for the best defensive player in the game, that's all the Rams gave up. That's it. They're really, well, they just announced next year's first-round pick, Myles Garrett. Bravo, Rams. Team Battaglia. We got Zig Fracassi coming up next year. This is WGR Rochester.
Stand out from the rest? Odyssey Rochester, the owners of this radio station, are looking for you. Call Mike Johnson at 585-423-2946. Odyssey is an equal opportunity employer.
WGR Rochester Sports Update.
Boy, trades in the NFL, they don't get any bigger than this. Myles Garrett going from the Cleveland Browns to the LA Rams. In return, the Browns getting Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse, a 2027 first-rounder, a 2028 second-rounder, and a 2029 third-rounder. We'll get the thoughts of Zig Fracassi, Western New York native, SiriusXM. Zig joining us next year in the Sports Bar. It is the Knicks and Spurs in the NBA Finals. Knicks head coach Mike Brown on their opponent.
It's going to be tough. They're well coached. You know, they have obviously a tremendous player in Wemby, and then they're quote unquote young to a certain degree, but they have some really good veterans on the team that kind of uplift the young guys and give the young guys a lot of guidance.
Red Wings begin a series tomorrow night at Lehigh Valley. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader. WGR Rochester.
The best local sports talk in the Flower City. The Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia on the Sports Leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR. Rochester.
All right, if you're looking for the contrarian point of view to this trade, this is an interesting take. Lance Lysowski, we've had on the show a bunch of times, covering the Buffalo Bills for the Buffalo News. A rare win for the Browns. They weren't going to amount to anything this season with Garrett. Acquire as many assets as possible when you can. I really like Verse. Got to pay him after the season, but he's really good and younger.
It's Myles Garrett.
It's Myles Garrett. You got to get more than that. That's as sometimes you have a plan, and then the plan was today. Hey, Zig Fracassi, who knows as much hockey as anyone. Sirius XM knows our area, right? Did radio in Buffalo for years. And Zig joining us now on the phone. And we'll get to the NHL, and we'll get to, hey, how is it down in New York? But, Zig, I just have to open up. Thank you for your time today. Your thoughts on the breaking news this afternoon that Myles Garrett is now an L.A. Ram.
So, I wish yesterday would have been June 1st because I would have been all over this on NFL radio. So I'm a little bit envious of the news cycle. It was at first stunning, obviously, because you think of Myles Garrett as a top 5 talent. There's no question about that. To that point, I don't know anymore if you ever get what you would term to be full value on a trade. And you got to remember, Garrett just signed that $40 million plus deal annually. So that comes off the Browns' books. You get a guy who I think is ascending in Verse, and you got him under control for the next couple of years. Anytime you get a first-round draft pick in whatever draft, and, next year is going to be, I guess, loaded with quarterbacks. So if the Browns don't like Deshaun Watson or if Shadur or whatever the answer is, then they could draft a quarterback in 27. The other draft picks as well. I'm with Lance here. I actually kind of like this deal for Cleveland. I do. Now, again, Garrett, he's going to a situation where the Rams are clearly the favorite. And you remember, too, they revamped their secondary with the trade for McDuffie from Kansas City, and they bring in Watson as the other corner. Clearly, they and Seattle are the favorites in the NFC. But from the Cleveland standpoint, you're looking at a rebuild, get that draft capital. So, to me, it could be a win-win for both teams.
I think maybe this is where me and others are getting hung up on where, all right, if I just put these 3 players one next to one another, Max Crosby, who, by the way, didn't get dealt, but there was a trade, right?
It was close.
It was close, yeah, like we all thought. Micah Parsons, and I would have thought 2 first-rounders, and you could say, all right, well, Verse is a first-rounder. He is a good player. I'm wondering, how much.
Well, they did get 2 first-rounders, Gino. If you think of it, Verse is a first-rounder. They did get 1, so there you go.
That's how you can just tell everybody. And maybe when you see Jared Verse in orange and brown, that Browns fans will be like, okay, this is a good player that's going to help our defense. How much juice do you think Garrett had? In other words, in this with you, if you were hosting today, Zig, hey, my favorite team, blank, the Cowboys, the Bills, whatever it may be, why weren't we in on this? I'm just wondering, did Garrett have some sort of sway that I'm only going to be, moving on here if it's only this team or maybe a few others?
Great question. I would think he probably had a little bit of influence. I wouldn't have been surprised, if Philadelphia would have been on this. It seems like any big trade Howie Roseman makes anymore, they're always in on the action there as well. So, again, I'm not sure what the Bills would have been able to offer. And I think the question, too, would be, remember, you got a new defensive coordinator in Jim Leonard. Where would the fit be? So I think that's a consideration, too. So I think in the final analysis, again, I think the Rams had the best offer. And it's clear Garrett now has a chance to really win for the first time in his career. And Cleveland gets a chance to, maybe start over a little bit and use some of that draft capital in Verse to, look ahead because they're going to be playing at a new stadium here before too long. So
yeah, we are talking to Zig Fracassi, NFL Radio, Sirius XM, our guest. You heard him for years, also on Buffalo Radio on WNSA. Zig, you did on your show talk to somebody that we're wondering, all right, would the Buffalo Bills entertain bringing back Brandon Cooks? Because he's somebody that did give the team, I believe, a spark. He does still have that deep element to his game. He was involved in one play that we will remember forever and ever. So, like your thoughts? Does he still want to give it a go? Do you think he'll get another opportunity here, Zach?
Yeah, as I posted on my X page at Zig Sports Voice, I asked him like right at the end of the interview. I says, "Are we going to see you on the field in 2026?" He goes, "Oh, absolutely. I can't go out like this." Obviously, referring to the play, which, by the way, he said it still drives him every day. It's something he still thinks about. And again, it was such a bang play the way that it was determined. But yeah, there's no mistake that Brandon Cooks wants to play this year. And I even posted to another responder. I think there's a chance he could wind up with one of the teams he originally played with, because if you look at it, the Bills are a contender. New England, remember, he played a year with Brady. They're a contender. The Houston Texans, with their situation, they are a contender. It wouldn't shock me if a contender, maybe even the Bills too, would be in on the Brandon Cooks sweepstakes. So I think he will play this year, and I think there is a reasonable chance the Bills could be interested again.
How much of it for somebody that has been in over a decade, not just for Cooks, but for a lot of these guys, because you're going down. And yeah, we did have a few signings today. OBJ to the Giants is official.
Yeah,
but, I mean, but like Zig, like we're going to get more news like this coming in, because you know what? None of these guys want to be hanging around in April and May and doing OTAs and mini camps. So how much of that is a factor that, hey, the NFL offseason is just a little too long. If I can enjoy a few more weeks off, why not?
Well, again, today, Gino's the magic day. June 1st, this is where you're going to see more of these moves. It wouldn't stun me today or tomorrow if it's announced that A.J. Brown gets dealt from the Eagles to the Patriots, which has been widely rumored for months now. And this is obviously the time of the year where post-June 1st, you always hear about, Gene Battaglia was released post-June 1st designation, which would mean that the team that released him, they get the salary cap relief. They get spread it over 2 years. So that's why June 1st is such a monumental day around the NFL.
Zig Fracassi, NFL Radio, Sirius XM. And, we'll get to the hockey stuff in a little bit, but you're downstate. Give us kind of what it's like. What is the city like right now as we're a little over 48 hours away from the NBA Finals beginning, Zig?
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get painted blue and orange, for goodness sakes, because that's what they're doing with the subways, with the entrances. Obviously making this a Knicks area, and I've worked with plenty of them at Sirius XM, and I tell you what, they are a hardcore, loyal fan base. It's been 53 years. In fact, I think I'm maybe one of 4 or 5 guys in our entire sports department that would actually remember that 73 team. I did see them that year in the auto. I was like 7, 8 years old, and I remember Willis Reed and Dave DeBuscher and Clyde Frazier, Earl Monroe. It was a treat, man. I remember that, maybe not like yesterday, but I do remember that as a kid. And, they've had some near misses, obviously 94, 99, and they may have a team to do this. Brunson is a sharpshooter and really a guy you can lean on. Anunoby, is a defensive ace. They got some good play off their bench. The key here, Gino, I think, is going to be, will Robinson be able to play and be effective, because he had surgery for that broken right pinky finger. So if he's not available, at least for the first part of the series, Wemby could go nuts on him. And how about this? Last time they were in the finals, 99. And who is it against? Spurs. So 27 years. let's party again like it's 1999.
Yeah, and who was the head coach of the Knicks then? It was a guy who has Rochester roots, Jeff Van Gundy, Brockport High School.
Absolutely.
Nazareth. Now Nazareth University, Nazareth College at the time, Zig Fracassi, which we were talking about before you came on. It's funny how Zig, here in Western New York, it's not like this is one area of the world where the NBA really doesn't kind of take hold as much, and maybe it's because we just don't have a team up here. We did have the Sabres. We haven't talked to you since that Sabre
We had the
run.
Braves.
That's true. Yeah.
We had the Braves.
That is absolutely true. But that's the slight gap between you and Isaac. That doesn't move the needle for me. Like I've read
well, hell, you guys, you should have been celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Rochester Royals championship. Come on now.
You would have thought we should have done something. Heck, we have minority partners still in town here for the Royals. We brought it up to them. Nothing.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah, the Dworkin family, Les Harrison's family, actually still to this day has a piece of the now Sacramento Kings. The final NHL final, Zig, Carolina and Vegas. Yeah, that. It's like, all right, we had these fun storylines and everything else. To me, not a surprise that Carolina gets to the final. They were the best team. They showed everybody they were the best team. What about Vegas here? What about a team that, all right, kind of muddled around in the regular season, but now they found their groove? I'm stunned, that they not only took care of Colorado, they swept them. It wasn't even close, Zig.
Yeah, and again, they were a team, and the regular season record, if you count those OTLs, they were under 500, even with the surge that Tortorella brought when he came in for Cassidy. And let's be clear, they had their problems against against Utah in the first round, because the Mammoths were killing them with the speed. But they made the adjustments, and they beat them. Same thing with Anaheim. Coincidence, is that both those teams weren't ready to win. Vegas had the experience, which I think carried them through that series. And then obviously with Colorado not having, I believe, the best defenseman in the NHL and probably should win the Norris this year in Cale Makar, that impacted that series big time. And then, you look at it, McKinnon getting on his guys there, kind of a bad look. I think they got to be a little bit desperate. I think Carter Hart obviously outplayed the Woods in goal for Colorado. And in the end, there's, 13 guys are on that 23 Stanley Cup winning team. Maybe they just needed a fresh voice. Tortorella says they've been nothing more basically than guidance counselors. And again, that division this year, Gino, wasn't all that great, but give them credit for getting to the Stanley Cup Finals. And that's an organization right there. They'll fire a Stanley Cup winning coach, Kelly McCrimmon, Bill Foley, the ownership there.
Oh. All right, we'll work on getting Zig back there. So that only means one thing. So Zig Fracassi, SiriusXM, joining us here. We're talking about that. We'll get him back on the horn. Just to kind of reset what happened today, it's Myles Garrett as an LA Ram. Garrett traded for Jared Verse, 2027 first, a 28 second, and a 28 third, which that to me, not enough. Some people think that is a good one. We're back in with Zig. We lost you for a second. We got you back.
Sorry about that, Gino. It must have dropped by accident. So
that still happens in this day and age. How is this even possible, Zig?
It's almost like Elvis left the building prematurely. So.
It seems on paper, all right, Carolina in 5 or 6. That's not the way it always works out. How do you see this series going, Zig?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on the Carolina train. I've been a fan of Rod Brind'Amour's for a while, and finally to get over that Eastern Conference hump. I mean, he took them there 3 other times in recent years. The record was 1-12, and of course they get thumped in that first game against Montreal, and you're thinking, oh gosh, here we go again. I go, no, all that is being off for 11 days and not having your hockey wits to you. And then sure enough, the defensive style they play, the suffocating checking that they use, basically negated Montreal's power play, their speed. They check like demons. I think they go 4 lines deep. Maybe they have the best fourth line in hockey. And then the defense, Slavin's been criminally underrated for a lot of years. And then Freddie Anderson, he outplayed the other goalie in that series, Dobish. And I tell you, you talk about a guy dealing with a heavy heart right now. He had an eloquent statement on his friend and his agent, the late great Claude Lemieux. So think about what he had to be going through in Game 5 the other night. So all of that added up, and Carolina's got the home ice. I'm going to go with the Canes in 6.
Yeah, that seems the way I would go there too. Zig, before we let you go, and hockey here in Western New York and all the crap we've had to deal with for so many years. And just how
relevant again, Gino.
Just how fun this is, and there's all this young talent. There's Konsta Helenu scoring the golden goal in the World Championships yesterday. We've been so busy today, we didn't even have a really chance to dive into that. I'm going to ask you a pointed question about the Sabres, because we figure the Sabres, with all their talent up front and certainly their blue line, they're not going away anytime soon. The question is, can you do better at goaltender? Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got pulled in this series, as did Alex Lyon. Are you going big game hunting? Do you try Devin Levi? Other teams wanted Devin Levi. Like, is this an area you could see the Sabres making a move, or do you just kind of stand pat knowing that, hey, for teams you like losing it after not making it for so many years, losing the second round, there's no shame in that. This is a process, and this group will be fine next year.
I still think, Gino, maybe the Avalanche of 22 might have been the exception, but I think you need a brand name goalie to win. Whether, again, Tampa's not trading Vasilevsky or Bobrovsky from Florida, what have you. But I honestly believe that you would probably need a brand name goalie to win. Would I kick the tires if he was available and you've got assets to do it, and you've made trades with him before, like a Jordan Binnington? To me, that would be an upgrade for the Sabres. If you could pull a Stanley Cup winning goalie from the Blues, and, St. Louis may be dealing in the off season as well. So my answer to that would be, I do think you need to upgrade the goaltending. I still think you need that anchor to, be able to have Stanley Cup success. So, yeah, I would try to do that. I'm just trying to think maybe off the top of my head some of the other goalies you could think about.
Well, there's one who gave some cryptic comments. He plays up in Winnipeg. I mean, you're making the call about Connor Hellebuyck.
Well, why not?
You're making the call, right? So
why not? You got to make the call, I would think, right?
Yeah, for sure. Zig, tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can check out your work here. And I'm sorry, like we had the NFL news today on my show and not necessarily all that much on your show on Sunday.
That's okay, Gino. Next time you rearrange the calendar, please put it on a Sunday. But in all seriousness, you can get me at Zig Sports Voice on X. I'm also at Zig Frikowski on Facebook. Updates throughout the week on our platform of channels, 1 to 7 Eastern, Wednesday through Friday. Mad Dog Sports Radio with the legendary Chris Russo, 3:30 through 5:30 Eastern, Wednesday through Friday. And then weekends on NFL Radio, Channel 88, the Sirius XM app.
A lot going on, Zig. Enjoy just taking in the city here, whether this is the year first time since 73. I hope for Knick fans that'll be the case. Zig, thank you so much. Let's do this again soon.
Anytime, Gino. Thanks, buddy.
See ya. Zig, who, of course, West New York native, Bruins fan, by the way. But you give him a pass because there was a time prior to 1970 Buffalo didn't have a hockey team. And there was a time prior to 1960 the Bills weren't around either. So, yes, there are pockets of Giant fans because that was the team. And, yes, there are pockets of Cleveland Browns fans who I'm saying, give it up. You are in an abusive relationship. Final thought coming up next year. Yes, Myles Garrett traded to the Rams today. My name is Gene Battaglia, WGR Rochester.
FM and AM 950 WGR Rochester.
Hello, friends. Gene Battaglia here. Shopping for double pane windows? Well, nothing beats the new Illumilite window upgrade from Window Nation. The new Illumilite windows are designed to offer triple pane performance with the look and weight of double pane. Well, that's because they use Triton Advanced triple pane glass, which means Window Nation's Illumilite windows are more energy efficient. They reduce outside noise by 15% or more and offer more glass area than comparable windows. That all adds up to windows that are easier to open, have an unmatched level of clarity, and make your home comfortable year-round. Plus, they're backed by a limited lifetime warranty. And now's the best time to upgrade your home's windows during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows with new Illumilite ones and getting half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down and no monthly payment or interest for 2 years. Illumilite windows available exclusively from the trusted experts at Window Nation. Schedule your consultation now by calling Window Nation at 866-90NATION or go to windownation.com.
The Open Road.
Rochester's home for live sports and the best sports talk anywhere. The Sports Bar with Gene Battaglia, 95.7 FM and AM 950 WGR, Rochester.
So one of the questions I posed to Zig Fracassi, and he said, well, that's a good question, Gene. We now have answered. Did Myles Garrett have any sort of sway? The answer is, as we say today, 100%. Little do we know, he had, according to Adam Schefter, a full no trade clause. So for anybody that's upset that my favorite team didn't get Myles Garrett, it's not that simple. It's not quite like a free agent tour, but you don't have the access, and I'm sure that list was, like Myles Garrett was not going to be an Arizona Cardinal. Let's just kind of put it that way. He goes to the Rams. We learned that today. One thing that, for my own amusement, I mean, on our show over the years, we've goofed on Russell Wilson. Well, today, Russell Wilson, it's out there. He's done as a quarterback, at least for now. He's going to be joining the CBS studio analyst job. He's going to be in studio with the other guys there, Nate Burleson and such, which... How pissed do you think Russell Wilson is today? This should have been the day for Russell Wilson. We celebrate the career, the greatness of Russell Wilson, former Man of the Year, Super Bowl winning quarterback, and here he is. He's still going to be involved, but yeah, retired as a quarterback. Russell Wilson now, distant second or third, like OBJ going to the Giants. That'll dominate the headlines in New York. So that's who's going to be on the show tomorrow, Tim? Well, I would imagine this show this will have legs. Still no word, by the way, on any A.J. Brown trade. Like, this Brown to the Patriots thing has been sitting out there forever and a day, and now the latest report is that what's being discussed here, because you don't make this move if you're the Eagles unless you're getting a first-round pick back, right? Right. Because Jalen Waddle gets dealt for a first. The latest thing that's being rumored is the Patriots giving up a 2028 first-round pick, which, if I'm Philadelphia, it might not be bad. Like, will the Patriots be a thing in 2 years? Are they going in the right direction in 2 years? You got to move A.J. Brown at some point. Is there another team? Or we could look at this from another way. Why are we learning right now that there isn't a trade, but that's what's being discussed? I'll tell you why. Because that's just Howie Roseman sending a flare into the sky. Hey, any team that wants to offer us maybe a 2027 first-round pick, we'll do that rather than wait 2 years. I want to just do a wellness check. Producer Tim Schneider, who has been on the air with us during two dark moments in Browns history. The Deshaun Watson signing, which at the time we didn't celebrate here on the show. We said, what the hell is this? And now the Garrett trade to the LA Rams. Tim, how are you?
I'll be all right. I'm going to go play some softball, drink a bunch of beers, and then come back here tomorrow and see how I am emotionally handling this silly Cleveland Browns move.
Well, this is also good because I know your day off when you're going to get prodded once again by your Cairo is going to be on Wednesday. So we get you in tomorrow. If you missed any of today's show, well, make an effort. No, I'm kidding. 1 to 3 Eastern Time. You can listen in the Odyssey app at your convenience. It's all there. Dan DeLorean also has it chopped up in bite-sized form. Thank you to Zig Fracassi for coming on today. We'll do it all again tomorrow, 1 to 3 here on WGR Rochester. Shope and the Bulldog coming up next.
So much action, we couldn't fit it all in.